Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have a new Mattel review finally, and it's a new Amber Collection review. As you can see, we have Velociraptor Blue and Owen Grady. I ordered both of these from Amazon. I had to wait a little while. A lot of people seem to be getting them from Toy Wiz, but I was kind of waiting out for the actual retail price, and I ended up getting them both on Amazon. I believe I paid about 25 bucks for Owen and $30 for Velociraptor Blue, so that's much better than the $45 or so that I think I would have had to pay on Toy Wiz, but I didn't mind waiting it out a little bit because I am psyched to now have these here in my collection. Both figures have the typical really nice Amber Collection packaging as far as Velociraptor Blue goes. If we turn it around, we can see all kinds of wonderful information here about Blue, along with an image of her right there on the back. Really love the Amber Collection packaging. And then on the back of Owen Grady, of course, a shot of Owen, and then some information on him down there on the bottom. Again, the Amber Collection really has fantastic packaging to go with absolutely fantastic figures. So let's go ahead, break these out of the boxes, and take a look at them. So here is our wonderful Owen figure, and then here is our wonderful Blue the Velociraptor figure. I am very, very impressed with both, actually. I definitely think the likeness of Owen translated really well into the figure. I mean, it looks fairly similar to most of the Mattel figures as far as the head sculpt goes and everything, but I really do think it looks significantly like Chris Pratt, and of course the actual outfit that he's wearing definitely looks like the clothing from Jurassic World. And then of course Blue is phenomenal as far as the paint application goes in comparison to any of the Mattel Blue figures in the past. This is far and away the best version so far. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at both of these right now. So starting with Owen, just like I said, you can really see that the actual likeness as far as looking like Chris Pratt goes is done really well, and the overall sculpting of the figure itself looks really good. You can actually see a little bit of that 5 o'clock shadow, as they would call it, there on the face of Owen, along with a little bit more of his facial hair. You can see that the hair itself is also really nicely sculpted, and the head sculpt in general definitely looks like Chris Pratt. Moving down the body, the clothing on Owen looks really, really nice, beautifully sculpted, and you can see that the vest here can actually come off of Owen, so that is really cool. Definitely a nice touch on the part of Mattel to give you options as far as posing your Owen figure, but I really feel like they did a fantastic job on the clothing itself. Look at even the zippers have the paint on it, and it literally looks like real zippers, so it's very impressive how good of a job they've done. And even the actual body of Chris Pratt, it really feels like there is a body underneath that shirt. You can see that they've sculpted it out all really well. And then even when we get down here into the pants are really nicely sculpted, and you can see they've given it like a nice dark blue wash in certain areas to really give it that very realistic appearance, as well as the boots also look great. So the Owen figure honestly is really, really nicely done. You can see even the watch is present on Owen. Beautifully painted, actually. That is very nicely done. So the Owen figure is absolutely awesome as far as I'm concerned. And as far as Blue goes, now we have actually reviewed the sculpt of this Velociraptor before. I don't believe there is any difference in this sculpt in comparison to the initial Amber Collection Velociraptor that was painted with the Jurassic Park style paint. So we don't really have to go over the sculpt at all. And actually this specific sculpt, I believe, is meant for Blue. You can tell because of the osteoderm type appearance that kind of pops up here on the neck, and that's something that lacked on the initial Velociraptors from Jurassic Park that even the Amber Collection figure of that version did have. So overall, the Velociraptor sculpt always was, as it seems, meant for Blue. So that just means that the Blue figure is definitely accurate as far as the sculpt goes. Looking at the paint, you can see that the paint is really nicely done. That tone of gray right here is exactly the tone of gray that we have come to know on Blue. And you can see that it transitions really nicely to a darker gray up here on the top of the body of Blue, and it looks really nice, and that darker gray runs the length of Blue all the way down. And you can also see that the blue stripe, of course, is done correctly as far as the way it's placed. You can see it does come over and then under the eye just like it does on Blue, and that's how it looks on the right side. So they did do a great job as far as correctly placing the blue stripe that does run down Blue, and also that really nice outline of like that light gray or whitish coloration. Looks great on the figure, and they have applied this perfectly. It looks very natural on the figure, and it's really, really nicely done overall. And then you can also see all over the figure that you have these really nice areas of like this darker gray, which is something that you definitely do see on Blue in the film, and I think they did a great job of applying that as well, and looks extremely nice all over the figure. It really is all over the place, and you can see on the underside has a really nice light gray, which is also something that you do see associated with Blue in the films. And I just knocked Owen over with Blue's tail. But looking at the opposing side now, you can see that the blue stripe does end correctly as far as stopping before the eye. And again, the blue stripe along with that really nice kind of gray, that dark gray pattern, and just in general the coloration of the figure looks great on both sides. It really, really does. This blue Velociraptor figure is absolutely phenomenal as far as replicating the actual dinosaur in the movies. Mattel has really outdone themselves with this figure. The only thing I could say that probably could have been a little better is that the eye is more of like a gold, and that's not really what you do see on Blue in the film. The eye of Blue is kind of like a mixture of like yellows and reds, sort of. It's kind of a weird color to explain, but it definitely isn't gold, so that's a little bit of a downside. However, the inside of the mouth is phenomenal. You can see a really, really nice textured appearance on the tongue. The teeth are all painted really nicely. Beautiful gloss coat in there as far as the inside of the mouth goes. And if you actually look in the back of the mouth, you can kind of see like some blood sort of back there, giving it some alternate variations of color inside the mouth, but also just showing you how realistic the inside of the mouth is. Really, really beautiful. Again, this Velociraptor is just off the charts awesome. And then as far as Blue goes, we have that very cool amber style base, which there's a little hole here on the underside. You slide this little peg here into the hole, and then that does help Blue to stand quite nicely. Actually, Blue's a little too tall for it currently. So there you can now see that it does help to position Blue and kind of give you the opportunity to display Blue in different ways and different positions. And then of course with Owen you also have that same similar amber style base, and he's got holes on the bottom of his feet, and you just slide these pegs here that are on the base into the holes on his feet, if I can actually aim this correctly, and then you've got yourself a really nice base for Owen as well. And they do look really cool on the bases, definitely look awesome. I love the addition of the very cool amber style bases, really keeping with the theme of the line overall. And once we pull the figures off of the base, we'll get a look at the articulation. So it's all the same articulation that we had with the last Raptor. You've got the articulation right here with the head. You've of course got the articulated jaw, which we already displayed earlier. You've got articulation right here at the base of the neck, and then here in the shoulder area, the elbow, and the wrist. So you've got quite a bit of articulation in the arms. You've got the hip right here and the knee right here, and then down here with the foot. And you also have the claw itself can articulate, which is really, really cool. And then you have the tail as well, which is actually on a swivel, so you can swivel it around if you would like, but the tail is also bendable, so you can bend the tail into whatever position you would like. So that's all the articulation that we've got for Blue. As far as Owen goes, we've got the articulation of the head, so the head can turn. You've got the shoulder, the elbow, and the wrist. You've got right here in the midsection, right under the chest, and in the lower part of the stomach in the hip area. And then you've got right here in the legs, the knees, the ankle as well. So definitely really beautiful articulation in both. Another very cool addition with Owen is that he comes with this very cool knife, which is fun to add in, and I didn't take them out, but you can see there are also a separate pair of hands to alternate the hands if you would like. And also, as you can tell, the figures can stand freely on their own without the bases. And for a height on Owen, you are going to see Owen come in at about 6 and just under 6 3/4 inches, or around 17 centimeters in height. And then for Blue, about 5¼ inches or around 13 centimeters. And then for a length from the tail to the tip of the snout, just under 12 inches or 30 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon, all here next to our Amber Collection figures, really showing you that the Amber Collection definitely has some really good size to it. The human figures alone are much larger than the standard Jurassic World figure, and the dinosaurs themselves are also much larger than the standard Jurassic World figures. So hopefully, if you haven't actually seen any of these Amber Collection figures in person quite yet, this will help you get a good idea of what the size is. And for another comparison, here is the initial Velociraptor from the Amber Collection, the Jurassic Park style painted version. And you can again see that the sculpts are exactly the same between each of the figures, but you'll also be able to tell how cool it is to see a Jurassic Park Velociraptor next to a Jurassic World blue Velociraptor. But you can definitely see that as far as the sculpt goes, they are the same figure, just different paint jobs, but both are ridiculously awesome. So both of these Amber Collection figures are fantastic. The last round we had Ian Malcolm and the Velociraptor from Jurassic Park, and this round we now have Owen and Blue. There is also a Charlie figure floating around out there. However, that one actually hasn't shown up, I don't believe, on Amazon yet to order. It is on Big Bad Toy Store for pre-order. However, there isn't a human character that comes with Charlie that is kind of like associated with it. I don't know why. But regardless, there is also a Charlie figure. But as far as these figures here go, I think Owen specifically is really nicely done. I love the sculpt on Owen overall. He really does genuinely look like Chris Pratt. And the way they've sculpted out the clothing, even showing like wrinkles in the clothes and everything, depending on how he's moving, and the very minute details they've really put into the clothing and Owen himself, like the facial hair and the painting of the zippers and everything on his vest. It's all very nicely done. The way they painted the pants with kind of like a dark wash to really bring out the detail of the pants but also make them look very realistic is absolutely phenomenal. I think Mattel does a great job on these figures, really going the extra mile when it comes to the Amber Collection figures. The blue Velociraptor is again also phenomenal. As far as blue goes, this is easily the best Mattel blue that we have had yet, even better than the Super Colossal version, which I was a huge fan of. But this one, the paint is just far and away better than anything we've seen previously for the Mattel line. The only downside, I think, to the blue figure at all that I can think of is the eye color, because it's not really the coloration of the eye on blue, but it's not too far off kind of being a goldish, and blue's eye has sort of a yellowish type of an appearance in the film, so it's not too far off, but I think they could have done a little bit of a better job. And I really feel like if Mattel put a little more into the eyes of their figures, maybe giving them like a decal that has sort of a detailed paint to the eye, it would really make the figures just look incredible, although they already do look really, really good. Again, the sculpt of blue is fantastic, and this sculpt, like I said earlier, was initially used on the Jurassic Park style Velociraptor. However, judging by the osteoderm appearance and just generally the head sculpt is very blue-like, you can see that this sculpt was always meant for this exact figure. So now that it is all together and the correct paint scheme is on the figure, it really does look great. Overall, both figures, fantastic, fantastic figures. So I will link you guys in the description to where you can pick these up on Amazon or pre-order them on BigBadToyStore.com. So make sure you check the description, pick up these beautiful Amber Collection figures, and also make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.